Hello, ladies and gentlemen, countrymen and women. Welcome to this wonderful breakfast show, Lumen Morning Diary. Today, the 10th of January, 2026. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm with my fellow presenter, General. Good morning.
Good morning, Henry.
Wananganza banga mistake at 2025.
We
are still in the mood of 2025.
But as if that we're in the new year. Because I was actually waiting for that mistake of you saying 2025.
You know, January has come with a lot of stories such that we don't know which one really trended this week because we have a lot. Just like January last year, it started with tragedies. The skeleton of, the skeleton story that was in the month of January, and now we are still in the month of January. A lot of dates have been recorded in the country. The drowning of the 5, of course, General will talk about that one. We have a lot of stories for you, our dearest viewers. The topics are running. The stories that we'll talk about are running right there on your screen as we prepare for the opening of the schools. Hope the schools are ready. Early this week on a Monday, I took time to go through some of the places, the school places. But that is the duty of some of the workers, even the students, to take responsibility to ensure that the places are safe for learning.
We're actually discussing about the opening of the new schools, of the schools, sorry. Though this week we saw other schools being opened. Yeah, especially the private sector. Some of the private sector schools, opened this week. And unfortunately, they were told to close because they need to start following the government calendar.
Yeah, which is very important because all the schools, we have 13 weeks running, so that at least we should be moving at the same pace. You know, it feels good when you are all moving at the same pace. At least we'll have no one to blame to say, these schools, they have the high pass rate. Remember that we all have 10 days in this new year. So what you've done in this new year also matters. We should not be blaming one another. Let's keep pushing to ensure that we reach our targets.
Exactly.
General, before we dive into the trends, I know we have a lot of stories to talk about today. Our viewers as well, you can tag along with us. For those that are joining us on Facebook, you can simply share the page. Remember that Lumen TV is on channel 101 at Top Star, and also on YouTube we are live. Ensure that you participate in this show. This is the only show where you can at least get verified information and also contribute. Those are the stories that you're able to see on your screen out there. But don't worry, the stories will soon show, so that you can also participate. We have a lot of stories. The Bishop story. We have the situation in Lundazi. How far is the situation in Lundazi? Those that are watching us in Lundazi, you can also share with us how it is on the ground. Farmers have not been paid. This is something that also the Catholics voiced out to ensure that your voice is also heard. Let's ensure that we talk in a good way as we participate through phone calls as well as text messages. Remember that we also have stories of load shedding coming to an end, but we'll remind you of the mixed stories that we had starting from early December, and also the stories that we had in January recently this week, to say what really contributed to this end of load shedding. And it has also affected some farmers in some way of where payments are concerned.
And speaking of load shedding, I'm sure our viewers will actually also verify to us if indeed truly load shedding has come to an end.
For sure.
Because I'm told in certain areas they're still experiencing the load shedding. So I would love that our viewers would engage with us, tell us, okay, for Yadipwa, no, we're having a bit of load shedding here and there. so that we verify whether it's accurate or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Though others are saying no, it's because it's election year. So,
and also the economy is doing very well.
Yeah.
I just realized early this week we've seen numbers reducing. General,
the forex dollar actually, kwacha is gaining.
It has really gained. I went through some shops just trying to check if the prices are still the same or not, but obviously we'll see some changes in the next few months if it is consistent, because the only thing here is consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you know, those people that actually sell goods are actually saying ati kugwa kwa dola nipasha nipa paper chabe. Then they're not actually reducing it with the commodities, because they're saying they had gotten those commodities at a higher price. So why should they reduce now when they don't know where they're going, because they're actually having losses? Yeah,
indeed, General, because in most cases before we talk about the reduction of prices, we should also look at the time frame. From what time to what time did the dollar reduce? Yeah, we can celebrate, but it is something that we can celebrate if it is a long-term reduction in the currency of the kwacha against the US dollar. The other thing that we'll also talk about here is the incorporation of, the working hand in hand between the schools, the community, and the children, to ensure that learners are safe everywhere, because we've seen this happening over the years, the blame of the school management, or rather the teachers being blamed for the poor performance of the children, also the behavior of the children back home. The blame is on the teachers. But all in all, we have a special guest that will help us bridge the gap between the parents, the children, and the school. General, before we talk much about the opening of the schools, take us quickly into the newspapers.
Well, I'll start with the Mass newspaper, and the headline is, "Be brave, disown tribal politics. Changala calls on Tongas, chiefs to reject Hichilema's decisive rhetoric." Human rights, pay suppliers now, Membe tells government. In the Times, 200 graves sink. Coordinate military action, key. PS. Kasama PF councillor dismisses explosion threats. The Daily Mail. Tragedy, 5 boys drown. Government mourns children, pledges to support grieving families. Zambia IMF ties intact. HH wants macroeconomic wins felt by citizens. Ben Farmer. Then the last one is, magistrate wants doctor to testify in sodomy case.
All right, these are the stories that you heard on the newspaper. General, before we get into the trends, which story has actually touched you where the newspaper pick are concerned?
Most definitely, it's the drowning of the 5 children.
Yeah, indeed, the tragedy. But let's also talk about this story where 200 graves sink. We are in the rainy season, because in most cases people believe that when the graves are sinking, it's a sign of the dead not lying in peace, because these are just beliefs that people usually have, especially in rural areas. But we need to understand that at some point what really causes the sinking of these graves of our beloved families. Because of the rainy season, because of late we've experienced massive rain pattern in different parts of the country, because on the newspaper pick it is not really indicating where exactly these 200 graves actually synced. The other thing that we can also brainstorm is that maybe the issue of the tragedy of the 5 boys that happened yesterday in Mutumbi area. Yeah, that's in Minwood. Exactly what is there a dam that these children would actually go to, and what kind of a place are we talking about? Because as you are heading to Minwood, there are sewer, ponds there, where exactly these children actually found themselves. Yeah, because we must take measures to ensure that these children are safe, especially during the rainy season, because this rainy season has come with a lot of excitement. Yeah, especially where water flows. You know, anything can happen. Yeah, and we pay our sincere condolences. We wish that the family the deepest condolences for those that have lost their beloved ones. We saw it all over the social media where parents were captured crying. Others, they had power at least to explain what really transpired. The most touching story was that parent that explained to say this child actually made it to Form 1, and they were actually preparing for the boarding items for that child. And the mother really grieved bitterly to say, this is the boarding school where my son has actually gone to. That was a very touching story where we saw on the social media. General, just to, I know you are also touched. Yeah, you're also touched on this short story. Most of the things will come after a short break. We have clips that will remind you how the week has been. For now, stay tuned.
Lwana ndwamo mwalifasila Zambia, Lwana ndwamo mwalifasila mo mwalifazila mo mwa Zambia wanandwa mo mwalifazila wanandwa mo mwalifazila mo mwa Zambia wanandwa mo mwalifazila wanandwa mo mwalifazila twakane nkondo muno chalo twakana itwakane nkondo muchalo Jeswi cha Zambia itwakane nkondo muno chalo twakana itwakane nkondo muchalo Jeswi muno mu Zambia twakane nkondo muno chalo twakana twakane nkondo muchalo Jeswi cha Zambia muno mu Zambia twakane nkondo muno chalo twakana wakane kondo mutalo Jeswi cha Zambia muupulelu batu bali bamwe mwa 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 Zambia Remember we are one Zambia, one people. Remember we are one Zambia, one nation. Remember we are one Zambia, one people. Remember we are one Zambia, one nation. Remember we are one Zambia, one people. Remember we are one Zambia, one nation. Oh, remember we are one Zambia, one people. Remember we are one Zambia, one nation.
Welcome back, our dearest viewers. This is the song, at least, that has uplifted someone's soul, especially those that are mourning. We had a lot of tragedies, especially this week, starting with the Kabanana issue, children, and also yesterday's story, children. At least we thought it wise, at least, to play that song that will uplift someone's soul. General, before we get into the trends, we have so many stories that we need to talk about today. Briefly, maybe you have more details concerning to the 5 children that drowned.
Well, according to the information that I managed to get yesterday, I'm told these guys, they were actually 9. Yeah. And I'm told this wasn't the first time them going that side. Yeah, there were actually 5, or 9. The 5 of them, they actually swam. They were even at the end, at the shore. Then one of them was the one that was caught. So those other 4 died trying to save the other one.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the story that General had for us, where the story of the Meanwood tragedy, where the 5 children drowned. Not too long ago, we had the situations in the country where we experienced the worst load shedding ever. But now we are in light. In some places, I wouldn't say all because I don't have that verified information. Let's hear what really contributed to the end of the load shedding. Let's see this clip.
One reason why load shedding is reducing is the natural one. they increased water in the Kafue, not in the Kariba.
It's true. It's increasing.
After the rainfall that came, my concern was disaster. Believe you should be following. You have to see which part of the country is there enough or too much rain. My concern when I saw the water in the Kafue was, are we going to be battling floods? Just 1 month ago. This is the fact, colleagues. Yes. I'm not making it up. Yes. So Kafue right now is generating a little more.
Yes.
I have not been told about Kariba because I haven't even been there, but it is more of Kafue. You understand? It is where does the water come from, not the water falling in the Kariba. Then you think this one will fill. No, it comes from up there and it moves. Yeah, those are the miracles. What I've said, to make it clear, madam, is I'm talking about Kafue.
All right, welcome back, our dearest viewers. For those that are calling, you can simply use the numbers that are on the screen. We happen to have a caller. Yes, hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You are through to Lumen Morning Diary. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Gianni Nkengwamvili Musoka, Member of Parliament for Ndele East Constituency.
Yes, sir. Your contribution, please.
I'm following the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to comment on the tragedy of the boys who drowned in Mtumbi there. I think, Henry, if you follow me every time, I do talk of the issue of taking care of the children.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just love to encourage the parents to make sure that they know where the children are at every time, especially now that, now that the holiday has come to an end. They are going to their teachers, but every time we have these children home, let's make sure that we find out where they are and make sure that they are safe every time.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you people are looking very nice on the show. I love it.
Okay.
Thank
Can
you.
you ask him if the load shedding has ended?
In your area, sir, do you experience the situation of load shedding?
Yes, but now we no longer have it because we are drawing closer to that time that I cannot mention.
Okay.
But we used to have a lot of load shedding, but not anymore. People now have electricity. The barber shops are working normally, even the salons. I can see these people in barber shops have started regaining their weight. Yeah?
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for calling.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That was Eugene that actually called to contribute where the tragedy of the 5 children that drowned yesterday. All right. Before the caller, we had a clip of the vice president talking about what really contributed to the end of load shedding. General, I believe you have something to say.
Wow. So, this is why they're actually saying this thing is all political.
Mm-hmm.
That was just December when we only had, I think, maybe 4 rainfalls in the country, and then people say the water levels are already increasing. What happened to last year's rain season? What happened to the other year's rain season?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we still had rain season and still experienced the worst load shedding in the country.
All right. The main reason why we played that clip, because not too long, just this week, the Minister of Information, Mr. Cornelius Mwetwa, was talking about what really contributed to this end, to the end of the load shedding, rather, where he talked about he prioritized power to the payment of farmers. That statement, it just didn't sit well with me, because we had situations where these farmers had to sell their livestock in order for them to survive. And this is the time when schools have opened. Not all learners are in government schools where there is free education, so to say. But just to comment on that clip that played, the Minister of Energy was seated just right there. And where we saw him defending the Vice President, saying, it is true. Actually, it is because of the rains. And now the statements are not tarrying. They're not working together. I mean, they're not clear. Yeah, because this is a situation where people now, they sit and, I mean, they are confused who to believe. Because in most cases, we have the Minister of Energy, who is the right person to give information. And then the information that the Minister of Energy is giving does not match with the Minister of Information's story. Because these are two different things that we can talk about altogether. All in all, we leave it up to you, our dearest viewers. We just play to remind you to say, okay, we're not coming from a situation where everyone is blind. We're able to see what's happening. And also you can contribute by calling those numbers on the screen, how you feel about the clip that we played earlier on. For now, we will play another one that at least we'll talk about it after it plays.
Yakulirila ubuteko pamachiushi y'abalanda balepitamo mukulolela okupirwa ekyuma ky'amataba bashitishe kwefaraye mwebuteko bwesu twapapata twaliako n'omusasa tweleni bwangu abalanda ikyuma kyabo bakyula bafula kimoneni amayisa yayalefika napakati abalanda tabalashita omufundo uwakubika mu mataba yabo akunalilandilepo nakabiri pali uyu mukyushisha w'abalanda kanshire fye apapeni uwabana matwi yakumfwe nkuta shabalanda na umfwe.
All right, welcome back, our dearest viewers. That was a clip that where the bishop talked about the issue of farmers not being paid. This is where we now talked about the reason why they were not paid, because the Minister of Information clearly stated that the reason why they were not paid because they invested in power.
You see, the same minister said that, and I heard the head of state saying it's the banks. The banks are the ones that are delaying the payments of the farmers.
You know, I even don't know which one now to believe. I don't know. And also the head of state yesterday went on to apologize to those farmers that were not paid on time. But today marks the deadline to say by 10th of January all farmers would have been paid. Hopefully the story will not surface again next week where we talk about farmers have not been paid again. But all in all, even if these farmers have been paid, for those that have not been paid, for them to survive, for them to keep on at least going, especially that we are in the rainy season again, obviously they borrowed somewhere.
You know, the delayment actually affects them. For them, they can't actually grow crops because their money is held on to. How do they buy fertilizer? Because I think not everyone has received the farming input. We've heard stories on social media, we've heard stories in buses where people are complaining to say, if you have better farming input, you get. So I think since the head of state said the banks, please the banks, hopefully the banks will actually pay these farmers. You know, holding on to people's livelihood. Like you've said, schools are opening. We have children that actually made it to Form 1 and grade 10. And looking at a student going to these schools, you need money. Even if you are taking that child to a government school where there's free education, trust me, when you go, they will tell you there's no space. There's no space. until you pay a something.
That's
So
the thing.
how do I pay that something when the banks are holding on to my money as a farmer?
All right, let's hear what the farmers had to say in Lundazi.
FRA number 6 tavarimi mutikapangira budget chaoneka kuti tilipanga budget ya mrapindu so tupempha boma umutafikira kuno ku radio kuti vatipangireko riviro budget bise nase valimi pano tapanga kuti kufika pa chingondi para ndalama kulije basi katundu ila vari kutitorera ta mafamers vatiwezgere timanye uko tingapereka nde pano tiri fatareza kuti tionekereko naye mshedi tiyesa dandaura kwa vanyamata atumanyana nao kurumezi ndaine ni dandaura kwa omuza kunipako 20 bucks chifuka cho mulongora marisiti icho nchindu chamurapereka pindu kumulimi sono pano ngapanga budget kuti nilimenge vingoma kwenili ambira panda sunflower na soya beans na skawa apo nchindu chakwenerera chakuti ine na muntu ndine mulimi basi nioneke kuti ngiyambira sunflower iyo budget boma mbwe ili kuniusako pangani ya ulimi mbwe nili kale kumasinda ukutukuya sono skulu zijirukenge ukutukuya sono January nikapanda hai sono vura ya sono yupenjeka kutendekere so tudandaura kuboma kuti katundu yurari kutitorera vatichitireko riviro budget para vasuzga kufika pa Friday vasatiwezgere katundu witu timanye uko tingataira kubanki wakutoti kubanki ukumutaendera kose lino tapitako pano tili valimi tukwana 50 chakuti vakuti ndalama kulije boma rindaikeko ndalama za FRA kuti vauvire valimi varatoona ku banki vana kafukufuku ni vala vanyito ochita deposit mbanya njito notise ta valimi nde pano nili na marisiti awa marisiti kuti pano pampepo nkuyoya wakacha vake valimi nde vandize kuno votora fatareza kwa alibu pa mtengo wa 1100 kwacha malinga va mlongora city alibu hivi ndevi marisiti ninavo pano pa radio Shikaya tilitanandi pano madepo mose vayoengepo wakushasefu valipo pano na wajiyoyere suzo yingusa.
All right, those were the concerns of the farmers. Nevertheless, actually, I'm sure you found it in your heart to adhere to the apology of the head of state, where he said the maize that you had actually supplied some of you was not budgeted for. It was not in line. Yeah, it was a very good move where you had actually had the bumper harvest, and all of it actually the government got the maize that was not in line with the budget.
Actually, yeah.
So we are all assured that our monies will be
my farmers make sure you have a friend who's a farmer.
Yeah, my grandmother, she is a farmer.
You should also become a farmer.
Yeah, I will surely become one, especially hopefully if the payment will be given. You know, another not pass part 2. But 2 per minute page. Yeah. General.
Well, so looking at these farmers were actually in Lundazi. We also have a surge situation that is happening in Lundazi. We have seen so many floods. Houses are going down because of the heavy rainfall. It's like inflana iloka sana ku east huku because you notice that the road was damaged a few weeks ago, and even this week we saw another road being damaged in Eastern Province. So I don't know, is DMMU taking it as a national disaster or they've just let it be? Because those are the concerns that I'm seeing on Facebook. People are asking, what is the government doing about this? So what's your take on that story, Henry?
Yeah, it's a sad situation that happened in Lundazi. I saw it. I hope some of you saw what happened in Lundazi, where it was raining actually for more than 5 days continuously. People thought that the world is coming to an end to some extent. We saw crops being damaged. We don't know what really happened, what will happen to the people of Lundazi, especially where this farming season is concerned. And they were crying for their monies. Now that maybe they used the borrowed money to invest in their farming inputs, but now this is what happened. Hopefully the government is doing the needful to ensure that they come to to their aid to rescue some of the losses that they had encountered in this tragedy where the rainy season had to disappoint them in such a way.
Yeah, you saw how the water and sewerage company was submerged?
I did see that one.
Okay, it's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even, it's like they no longer even have water because it has been submerged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the other story that happened this week on a Monday, of which people are still waiting for the outcome, where the Archbishop of Lusaka was summoned by the DEC. And people actually, they had a lot of questions what will happen thereafter. And now that they are still wondering what will happen after this story. In case you missed some of the incidences that took place, we saw the arrest of the two men who had actually escorted the Archbishop in solidarity. What really happened? Because we saw that they were arrested. Are they released? Those are the questions that people are still having up to now. Why were they arrested? The heavy presence of the police. People talked about maybe wasting government resources. Obviously, this was planned. They already said, okay, these are the men and women in uniform. They should be ready to such tasks. That is their duty, to maintain law and order. But all in all, they were blamed in some spaces of the community. General, maybe you have something to say over the same before we actually play a short clip.
Yeah, and the question actually that people are actually asking in our communities and on social media platforms is, why is this issue still going on when the vehicle in question was actually released months ago? Immediately when the Archbishop learned that actually it had the vehicle had some issues, he released it to the government. Yeah.
Obviously, when you know, in most cases, you know, in churches we have different people. General, I come and gift you something as a clergyman, maybe as a clergywoman. In most cases, we don't question. People that take money to church, we take offering. That offering maybe is comes in different ways to us. Other dubious means, you know, others get it in a straight way. But all in all, we need to understand that the church must be respected at all costs, because we all belong to a church.
Yeah, this is why I'm saying this issue has got so many mixed feelings. Most people are also thinking it's actually political, maybe because of his presence in South Africa. So we've had different views about this issue, and it's really sad to see the Archbishop going through that, and the people that actually went for the solidarity walk. I feel they were not doing any harm. So I don't really know what caused the arrest, you know. It was all supposed to be something friendly.
Something friendly.
Exactly. No arrest, no insults.
All right. In case you missed that part, here is a clip.
These are not priests and bishops. You are ordered now in the name of the president to disperse except the 7 people that are allowed to work. Stop. Excuse me. Excuse me. No one is there. Can I have some tears, please? Let's go back. All of us, let's go back. We are going back. Let's go back.
What do you make of what's happening? The press has been blocked to go through.
Well, the issue is this, okay? That we believe in the holy name of Jesus. What the police are doing is not easy de-escalation. They need to learn de-escalation techniques. You let them go. The right of protest belongs to the people. It's not given to the people. Okay?
They continue to recite and I'll be joined by former Finance Minister Walenga just to get his perspective.
But if you are going to tell us to enter into this, we don't want it. We know that you are doing your duty, but let us not be intimidated. Intimidation is a cost. Even no, we cannot all go inside, but allow our leaders to go the bishop.
Then we wait for them outside. Simple. They are not here to fight. Simple.
Listen, Mama Kasa, listen.
No.
And listen to me. When I'm telling you, I love Zambia more than anyone who is here. That I can assure you. That I can assure you. I love Zambia more than anyone who is
Welcome back, our viewers. Those were the happenings. Sorry we did not give you a voiceover, but we talk about this situation. Of course, people had something to talk about. Unfortunately, we were not able to play that part. All right, so people were saying the situation would have been avoided if the Archbishop actually went there alone. But also other people had the view to say those people that were marching were also disturbing other motorists because it caused some bit of congestion at some point, because that was the time when others were going for work. Yeah, those were just the concerns from the general public. But nevertheless, we can't comment much because the issue is still ongoing.
Exactly. At Kwadwa Cyber. Henry, I saw your comment on social media actually.
Yeah, I won't comment. Yeah, we are not allowed to comment anything until the relevant authority actually proceed with this matter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this week has been a week of so many events. And we've talked so much. We've actually given our viewers most of the activities that happened this week. I think for now we'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
wose pachipando vale kumboko imivombe nyujojo abantu wose pachipando vale kumboko imivombe nyumayo Jamale tuzo Wale ngombe sango musha Jishita yose Wawatu wose pachipanda Wale kumbako Jimi wombele Njada Wawatu wose pachipanda Wale kumbako Jimi wombele Njumayo Kakatila twende wile nuka Imirimo yose mwaliposa Pamolandu wakatenda kawantu Ukuombela lesa kushipa mayo Walia wakosa kumapepo yose na kumaopa naiti Neyo mulwele mwale Kumamula no kuchinchishi waliro Imirimo yose mwaliposa Pamolandu wakipato ya wantu Imirimo
Welcome back, our dearest viewers. We've reached at an excitement moment where we are supposed to talk about the opening of schools, of which some of the schools had opened, others closed, were told to close. General, I hope you did not take your daughter to school on a Monday.
No, I didn't, because she's actually opening this Monday.
Yeah, and so the most unfortunate part is that they were told on a Thursday to close the following day. Hope the closing was actually done. Actually, in the studio, we have a very special guest that will help us with more details where schools are concerned in terms of the relationship between the community, the parents, and the school. Madam, you kindly introduce yourself to our viewers out there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mtenda. My name is Mrs. Kamasongo Kasalaba Mazava, and I'm the founder and director of Best Buddies Academy.
All right, it's good that Best Buddies did not open on a Monday. Hope you did. I don't know. Did you?
No, actually, we're actually opening on this coming Monday, which is the 13th of January.
Okay. So before we dive into the questions that we have for you today, what's your take on what happened on the schools that opened on a Monday? The PS saying they should close on a Thursday.
Okay, on that one, it wavers both ways, because some schools are private, and you find that they have an international curriculum which allows them to actually open on that day that they did. But again, there are others, like he stated, if you look at what his statement was saying, those that use the ECZ curriculum should abide by opening on the 13th. But those that use the international curriculum, like the IBP, Cambridge, those were given leeway to open because they're using a different calendar that we use. Yeah.
All right. So before we dive into the topic, which is bridging the gap between parents, community, and the schools, do you feel maybe you talked about the curriculum? But maybe before we proceed talking about this, I think we happen to have a caller. This person has been calling for a long time. Let's hear what this person has to say. Yes, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you are through to Lumen Morning Diary. Go ahead.
Good morning once more, Henry. Sorry, General, I didn't greet you.
Oh, good morning. Thanks.
Sorry to take you back. I just want to comment on the story for our very own Archbishop, His Grace Dr. Alec Banda.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, for the first time, I've heard a prayer that is prayed in the name of the...
Sorry, we didn't get that.
I heard the police officer begging the people to go back in the name of the president. I think it is so unfortunate that we are going through such situation. But in connecting to the song that you played just after the clip, I think that shows that he is truly a man of God. Just like Paul said, you are going to face persecutions because of saving Christ. But those who are insulting our Archbishop, those who are calling him names, I just want to remind them to say, the Bible says, touch not the anointed one. God himself has a mission with him. That's why he gave him to us as our very own Archbishop. And those who are involved also, in my own understanding, in my own opinion, I would love to advise them to say, us as a church, we cannot fail to buy a Hilux for the Archbishop. Actually, we are planning to buy a Fortuner for him. Thank you so much.
Well.
All right, thank you for your contribution. All right, that was Eugene Jan Musoka, who had called and contributed on the story that already passed of the Archbishop of Lusaka. All right, thank you very much, Madam. We move on with our topic. How does your school actively partner with parents and the local community to support students' learning and well-being?
Thank you so much. We believe that the foundation is a very important thing, and that foundation comes from home.
Mm-hmm.
Our motto at Best Buddies Academy is good beginning starts with God's love and a motherly care. So we partner with our parents and also the community to ensure that whatever we are building on, it's not just us who are doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
also where they're coming from, their homes, their communities, they're also very much involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, in one of the sayings, I don't know if we get it from the Bible but it's just something we've grown up with, says charity begins at home.
Mm-hmm.
So we ensure that our parents as well are involved in every good moral, academic or skills that we're doing at school, that they should also be involved, so that it's also being done in their homes as well. Communities as well, we have churches, you know, where kids go for Sunday school. The youth are doing youth programs from different churches where they're coming from. We believe that as a school, you also need to engage the churches so that whatever it is that you're trying to achieve is all round bound, from the home to the church to us as the school as well, that we all work together to make sure that we're all aiming at achieving one goal, and that's raising children that are morally sound and academically doing well as well. Yeah.
Wow, okay. So what initiatives do you have to bridge the gap between social activities and community resources for children?
Okay, so activities, we have different things. We have like parent-teacher circle. We have engagements where we expose them to different community places where you can invite, maybe let's say the security sector, which is or your law enforcement sector, sorry, which is like the police. You can invite the other law sector, also like the lawyers, because these are professions that we have in schools. So you find maybe one parent is a lawyer, or one parent is a judge, or one parent is from the police sector. So we involve them in certain activities, such as maybe careers day, where they come in and they have those activities with them, they have those sit downs with them, and just tell them about how important those different communities have roles to play in their lives as well. You know, nowadays we have children that are being mentally abused, or socially abused, or physically abused. But if you have people from the law sector or doctors from the health sector come in once in a while and speak to them about their rights, speak to them and creating awareness on what involves when it comes to them being protected, that's how we work with them. Mm-hmm.
All right. How do you handle challenges like bullying or resources disparities by involving the community?
Okay, so that one, I'll go back to say, first of all, when a child, I'll look at the victim, okay, or maybe not I'll look at the person who is a bully first before I look at the victim who's being bullied. So when a child is a bully, okay, nobody was born to be bad, nobody was born to be mean, or so when a child is a bully, meaning there's certain emotional situations that they need help in. So those kids already need maybe counseling, they need mentoring, there's some trauma that they're going through and they don't know how to release that trauma, and that's how they find themselves releasing that trauma by stepping on people. Actually, people who bully others are very weak because they don't have that confidence in themselves, even in this institute. So Mr. Mdenda, if you're being bullied by her, just know that you're not the problem. She's the problem. She needs more help. Yeah, because people that actually pick on other people is because they're crying out for attention. Yeah. And mentally they need help. So what we do is that we first, as obviously educators, we also do child psychology. So we first get to the grassroots to say, why is this child finding comfort in seeing others in pain? What is it about them that is missing for them to stop what they're doing? So we go back into counseling, mentoring, and we also bring the parents on board so that they can also find out what exactly it is that we can help with them. And sometimes, obviously, it's true that some kids that are just maybe spoiled because sometimes, especially now, parents, I think, are busy, and the way we were raised as children and the way other parents are raising their children now is very worrying and totally wrong. You'll find that a child is being raised by a phone. because the mom is busy, and all the child knows is to sit on the screen the whole day and watch cartoons and do that. So if the child is just going to watch cartoons the whole day or watch whatever they are watching, social media, whether it's Facebook on that, who is teaching them what? It's the internet, it's social media. So we need to go back to the basics and tell our parents to say, your child is behaving like this and there's a gap of parenting in there. You need to help them. So that even as we come to school and help them, they don't feel school is a rigid place full of rules and regulation, but it's something that is in partnership with them at home and also us at the school. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I concur with you on the part that you said people that actually bully others are actually weak. I have noticed that usually these people that bully are actually going through a lot in their homes. They don't get their parents' attention most of the time. You find that they're raised by harsh parents or parents that are never home.
Never home, yes. It's attention seeking.
Yes. So they actually find solace in bullying others.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so what role do you see the community playing in your school's success beyond fundraising?
Okay, no, for us, our community is wide because we have what we call parent-teacher conferences and also partnership with other stakeholders, like I mentioned. So it's a role where it helps equip the children, helps us equip the children, like I said, to more morally upright students in the future. So if I really want them to understand the law, I really want them to understand child abuse. As much as we, the teachers, the educators, will teach them according to the knowledge we know and everything, if we bring the right people to come in and say, you're coming from the health sector, and you know that to say if a child is maybe sexually molested or anything, what do they do? What's the first step? Okay, or what are the signs, even for parents to know that your child is being, because there's some parents who don't even know that their children are being sexually molested, And then when we have the law enforcement, so the children can also know their rights. There's an issue where one of the kids was stabbed, I don't know if it's by the maid or something, in the face, and I think that lady was sentenced, is it last month or so? Yeah, so if kids can also know their rights, can be able to express themselves to their parents when things are not okay at home. Because if that maid suddenly stabbed that child, obviously there were some behavior traits that was going on, but there was no communication in the home. So we partner with people like the police, like I mentioned, the lawyers, the health sector, dental as well. They come through and they educate children on different aspects of what's important for them. Yeah.
All right. As schools open, do you prepare students to be responsible, engaged members of their community?
Definitely, that we do actually. When you come in as little as they ask, we have kids at best buddies as young as 1 year, 6 months. So remember the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go so they do not depart. And parents think training is just saying today, do this and you forget. No. The word training, showing, directing, meanings are very different. So when you look at the word training is mostly associated with military, a police training, because it calls for seriousness, discipline. That's the word training. And that's what the Bible tells us, train up a child in the way that it should go. So for us, we start them as early as 1 year, 6 to respect others. We start them 1 year, 6 to respect themselves. We start them as early to learn to do things that they can manage on their own. So what we normally do when they're little, obviously, because some come in, they're not potty trained, so we start them to teach them to say, you can control yourself if you want to go to the bathroom. You don't have to pee on your own. You wait and see to say, am I about to go to the toilet? And you communicate. That's called potty training. And then we also start, like, let's say they have their snacks that they come in with in the morning. Instead of the teacher always removing that lunch box and that juice bottle and packing for them, each child has got their own cubicle where they put their bag and they put their snacks. So we train them to say, when you come in the morning, immediately you come, remove your things and go and put in your cubicle. And you'll be so shocked, as tiny as they are like that, they even know to say, this is my space. And they'll be memorizing to say, oh, my name actually starts with letter R or letter B. So this is mine where I can put my bottles. And that's a way of showing them to be responsible in whatever that they're doing. Yeah. So also responsibility is like as they're growing older, we tell them teach them to be responsible around their environment, you know, around their spaces. You can't wake up every morning or you come with a jersey and the following day your parents are calling and say you've lost your jersey. So how to keep your things neatly, how to look after your stuff so that you can also look after other people's stuff, not trespassing. You know, it's those simple little rules that we tell them that actually mold them. Exactly, thank you. Yeah.
All right. How is the weather where schools are concerned, especially that we're opening on a Monday? Because I would like you to maybe within 2 minutes or a minute or so to encourage someone, especially that when schools open, the first day of school, most of the learners don't attend class. Especially maybe you'd find that the week will end without seeing this child. Yeah, maybe to encourage someone out there.
At first week, before she comments, actually, we used to start first week there, school. Yes, exactly. You know, it's something that has been with
in
us.
the notion in our minds. Yeah.
Exactly.
But you know what? Education has evolved from the time we were growing up, when we're going to school, and what's happening now. It's very competitive. You know, and that's why you actually find others opened on the 5th because it's very competitive. So, you know, a school calendar has got 13 weeks, whether private or government, international or not. So in that 13 weeks, the first week is called the 0 week. Yeah, so the 0 week is before the 13 week, there's a 0 week where the teachers are now preparing the classes and doing what they need to do so that the first week when kids report, okay, it's when now they get into their lessons and everything. But on in the normal circumstance, every school, whether government or private, the first week is specifically where students are catching up through remedial and revisions. Because remember, we have also maybe new students in that school and old students. So the first week is not just where the teacher is just in their own cocoon and just waiting for kids to come in and is just staring at them. No. There's also where now there's remedial, there's settling in, and you're now catching up lessons with those that are far behind because no students are on the same pace. So that when you get into the second week, everyone is at least on the same pace to start their lessons. So they're not idle. They're given work. The teachers have to work with them, identify each and every student with their strengths. Which angle is he going to start at, because this child A has come in like this, child B has come in like that. So week 1 is a very crucial week because it actually helps the teacher set a game plan for every student. It's just unfortunate that in our government schools, sorry to say so, there's a horrible laissez-faire attitude. So they won't treat it like that. You will find kids maybe, and then now I hear most schools are just doing 3 or 2 hours of learning. So you find maybe the kids will just be there, maybe they'll tell them to go and actually clean, to go actually sweep, to go and actually do whatever these things are, and then they'll return back home without, you know, having any orientation about the first week.
Yeah, as a result, the child would report maybe on a Monday or a Tuesday. Then such things happen. They'll end up missing the whole week and say,
we're not learning at school.
Yeah, and also there are such kind of teachers where would openly tell their learners to say, even if you don't pay attention at the end of the month,
definitely
there's always that teacher. Trust me, there's always that teacher.
There's always that teacher, and we're praying to God as school proprietors, you know, like in this business. We're praying and hoping that TCZ continues doing what they're doing, because TCZ has come in on board to actually scrape off the teachers that are not of good quality, you know, and that's why they're now making them have this teacher's license and everything. Because it's not easy to run a school and you have teachers that are lazy. It's not easy to run a school and you have teachers that don't have a passion for what they do, that are just motivated by money, you know. And obviously for the private sector, it's different because obviously it's private. But for the government, they'll say at the end of the day, the president will pay me or the government will pay me because I'm only employed by them. So you find that, but what suffers in that situation is the grassroots, and that's the children. Yeah.
All right, we come, before we come to the end of the show, remember that this show is open for sponsorship for those that are...
work with media to ensure that the right voices are heard when it comes to education. So yes, it's something that we can look forward in doing.
All right, that was Madam Zamba, who has given us more insights to prepare us for the opening of the schools. For now, we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, our dearest viewers. We've just come here to remind that teacher that is going in the rural areas, the time to go is today. At least you can start off as early as maybe 20 hours, you sleep in the station, then 04, you start off, you go. Remember that this government, when you don't report for work, especially that those that are in rural areas, we've heard that people are leaving their learners vulnerable because of witchcraft and some sorts of things. We've seen a lot of things. We've heard a lot of stories. On the 12th of January 2026, go back to that school and start teaching on the very first day, which is very important.
Yeah. Actually, she also mentioned about the 0 week. Were you aware of the 0 week?
I'm a teacher by profession.
Oh yeah,
So
I almost forgot. You know the 0 week. I hope that those teachers actually taking the 0 week seriously. I hope they had plans for the future 13 weeks. Not today, what teacher they had blank, you know. They're actually destroying people's businesses, especially in the private sector. I wouldn't take my child to a school where the teacher doesn't really seem to know what she's teaching or what he's teaching.
Yeah, remember also before you go to class, do your lesson plan. For those that are doing their weekly forecast, ensure that you do not find your supervising as maybe as bad people. You know, in most cases, the most toughest thing where teaching is concerned is the point where you're supposed to do your lesson plan and your supervisor is very strict on you. Especially that, remember that, do the right thing. Be that teacher that is always happy to deliver, especially when you know what you're teaching. Generally, I talked about that teacher that doesn't know. You know, it comes a time when you don't need a book, especially that when you've been in this service for a long period of time. But all in all, we've just come to remind you to do the right thing.
And it's not only about the teachers, even the students. Make sure you go to school with an open mind, prepared. Avoid sleeping late. You parents, make sure they sleep early so that when they wake up the following day, their mind is fresh. You know, a mind that is fresh is an intelligent mind. The teachers won't have trouble if someone's mind is fresh. Not the only I didn't stress 021 because they were watching cartoon the whole night.
General, where did you mention 02? Anyway, I won't mention that one. I won't say anything. But all in all, we need to understand that the roadmap for the opening of the school is very much clear. Let's work together. The community, the students, the teachers, the gap has been bridged. General, before I say my bye-byes, before we say our bye-byes, I know there is that moment of reminding people to go to church, especially that today being a Saturday, tomorrow being a Sunday. Remember that you can pray with us on Lumen TV, where we bring to you the live masses. Remember that you can also partner with us on this show. I'll always talk about it. This show is open for sponsorship to ensure that we give you the quality of what you deserve. For me, Henry Mdenda, in the studio, General, and also the studio crew, those that are ensuring that you are able to get me loud and clear and to see the crystal clear pictures, we say our bye-byes. See you next time, same time,